I'm in one of my favourite places on the earth. The Phoenicians thought it was blessed by the gods, as no reptile, animal, insect or plant can kill you here. And Nostradamus said it was Earth's final refuge. I'm high in the hills, overlooking the azure waters of Cala Sierra in the northeasterly tip of the Isle of Ibiza, and I'm here on the trail of the goddess Tanit. Tanit was the mother of the gods. She was also worshipped as the goddess of love, the goddess of the moon and the heavens. She was associated with dance, and she was a warrior goddess. Now, of course, her powers are still steeped in mystery, but we do know that fertility symbols adorned her temples and tombs. But one of the things about Tanit that really draws me to her is she was considered the protector of women. And this idea is still very prevalent in modern day Ibiza. Tanit was brought to Ibiza by the Carthaginians, now modern day Tunisia. But she was also worshipped throughout the Mediterranean and North Africa. And she was known there by many names which were perhaps more familiar to us: Astarte, Aphrodite, Demeter, Persephone, Juno, Artemis. And of course the Ibizans believe that she was born here on a mystical rock. Here we are at the southwest of the island, and there she is, rising from the sea, Vedra, the birthplace of Tanit, allegedly. This is the place where Odysseus was lured from his boat by the sirens, which people still claim to see occasionally swirling around that magnificent rock. It's supposed to be the third most magnetic place in the world. And if you stand here, you can feel that energy vibrating through you, which is why so many people swarm to this part of the island just to breathe in that magic. It truly does have an exceptional vibe. Now, the goddess Tanit is beloved of this island, as I've said before, and she comes here with all her intensity to bring about a great protection for women. It's supposed to be the women's island. And if you come here as a woman with a problem and you make an offering to Tanit, she will take away your woes and your troubles. I can't leave this island without making my own personal offering to Tanit, and I've heard about the perfect place to do it. When I left Vedra, the most extraordinary synchronicity happened. I was driving literally in the middle of nowhere, and a young woman was hitchhiking at the side of the road. I picked her up and mentioned that I was filming about Tanit, and she said, "Oh, I've just come down the mountain from her cave," and she spent 4 hours walking to the temple and laying her offerings out. We had an incredible connection, and then we went to a pretty special beach afterwards. It made me realise that I was on the right quest. Well, we've managed to navigate the car up the very scary mountain, and apparently the cave is just 5 minutes this way. I really admire Sophia, our hitchhiker, for climbing a mountain in the heat to arrive at this very, very isolated spot. So I cannot wait to get there. There's something very primordial about this path. You can feel it pulsating with magic, and something extraordinary and special, I'm sure, is around this corner or the next corner, depending on how long this road is. But I can feel it. I can just feel it in my blood and in my bones that this is a very special, magnificent place. I don't advise wearing flip-flops if you do this journey. So I'm slipping and sliding 200 metres above sea level. Now, this cave was discovered in 1907, and inside were found 600 terracotta figures of Tanit and roughly 1,000 heads of figurines, as well as scattered pots and shards. The deeply rewarding thing about being here is that you can tell, after thousands upon thousands of years, this primordial goddess still has a cult following. There are people here leaving hundreds of offerings and little written spells and desires cast through the bars of this cave and this temple. I can feel the reverence in this cave. It's not dead, it's very much a temple that's alive, and you can tell by the types of offering that people take this very seriously and experience the same connection as some other people do in a church. So I've left my offering to the eternal Mother Goddess. I really feel that Tanit is side by side with me on this journey, and she's the goddess of love. I can feel that love coming through me. She's also the goddess of dance. And coincidence or not, Ibiza is of course now the island of dance. People gather in the summer months to salute the sun, the great giver of life, just as worshippers back in the day would gather at the full moon to dance in Tanit's honour. And as the sun begins to cast its beautiful and magical glow, I am drawn to the sunset at Beni Ras Beach to join the celebrations. Long before the hippies discovered Ibiza in the 60s, local tradition had it that the men got passed down the most valuable land and the women were left with the dregs, which was the coastal land, which was all barren and no good to anyone at the time. Now the island women rallied at this great injustice, and one historic full moon, apparently, they gathered and asked Tanit for help as the unfair distribution of wealth forced the women on the island into either poverty or marriage. Before long, the hippies arrived. Ibiza flourished, and the coastal lands belonging to the womenfolk soared in value, and the price of the men's farmland dropped. Coincidence or not, in Ibiza, you'll find a higher than normal proportion of wealthy unmarried women. The moral of the story here should be, don't mess with Tanit. People are drawn to this beach on the north of the island. Women, men, children, drumming, dancing, chanting, or just silenced by the magnificence of the sun as it drops like a golden orb into the molten sea. There's a tension and excitement in the air, and I defy anyone not to feel that or to be absorbed in the moment, just like revellers centuries before gave thanks. Here I am, repeating that and giving my thanks. The drumming is silenced, the sun is swallowed by the sea, but I feel as if my quest is just beginning.